Good evening, y'all. We back. It's me, Brian Forbes, and this is the Black Factor. Well, it's Free Thinking Friday, so of course that means that y'all get to chime in today. Even though we got a lot to talk about, I think today's show might go a little longer than usual. Just maybe we'll see what happens. But Val, how you doing? Thank you for checking in. Like always. See, I like Val. Val, you stick with me. I like that. I like that. I like that about you. Matter of fact, Val, as a as a regular like you are, I'm gonna have to look out for you, my man. Kenny Mack is in the building. Ken Holden, I see you, Miss Walker. Good to see you too. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate y'all. Like always, thank you for coming and hanging out with your boy. Y'all had to forgive me. I'm still getting things together here. It's been a hectic day because we're making a lot of changes and transitions and all kinds of good stuff is going on for the Black Factor. So we're trying to make it do what it do so we can bring the best possible presentation that is available to you. Because y'all got to remember, one of the main reasons why I do this is because it is unfortunate that we do not have enough media outlets that deal with our concerns. Regina Freeman, I see you. Thank you for checking in. Our concerns are not handled in the mainstream media the way I'd like to see them handled. And there's nobody really, well, I take that back. Every now and then we run across a few people who actually give us perspective. I give a couple of the media outlets credit for at least allowing the voices to be heard of those who are less popular in mainstream media. So that's one of the reasons why I do this. And I just want to say I appreciate y'all for coming through and hanging out with me and getting this information. So one thing that I did this week, just so you know, I'm transitioning over from my personal Facebook page on my lives to my Black Factor page. So if you get an invite from me for the Black Factor, it wouldn't be a bad thing to go ahead and switch that over. In the meantime as well, we have other platforms that you can get a chance to see the show. We're going to do some expanded type stuff here coming up in the future where we do a few more little longer type broadcast on the Twitch channel. So if you all do not have Twitch, let me suggest to you, and for those of you who don't know, there are quite a few really good DJs, old school DJs, house DJs who have switched over off of Facebook onto Twitch, and they play, man, you can just sit and listen to some really good music. There's a lot of good channels on there, a lot of political stuff for people who are into gaming. I'm not a gamer, but there's a really good platform for that as well. A lot of good stuff happening over there. So I encourage you to potentially use Twitch, or you can also check out the Black Factor on Periscope as well. We're now broadcasting on Periscope. All of these broadcasts are taking place simultaneously. So you could be in any one of these audiences. You can be on Twitch. You can be on Periscope. You can be on YouTube. I am streaming live on YouTube right now as we speak as well. And, of course, my two Facebook outlets as well as Twitch, like I said. So feel free at any given time to check out any of those, and you can watch the show. Because I know everybody don't necessarily care to be on Facebook. And, Facebook has gotten more and more restrictive over the years, and it's just getting to a point where it's becoming more of a hassle than anything. So we'll continue to broadcast with Facebook as long as we don't have too many problems. You know what I'm saying? So in the meantime and in between time, I want to put this out here now. I'm going to put it out again before the end of the show. On Monday, I got an interview on Monday. And I'm telling y'all right now, this is going to be a bomb interview. I don't know, some of our folks is real heavy into art and black art in particular. And we will be discussing In fact, the gentleman that we'll be having on is one of the world-renowned, one of the most prolific and game-changing artists in the world as far as black art is concerned. And many of you have seen his work, and whether you know it or not, this guy has actually absolutely is hanging on more walls around the world and in America in particular, in black community, than anybody else that I'm familiar with. I'm gonna just give you a little quick sneak peek of some of his stuff and see if you're familiar with any of it. All right. These are all, most of this is older stuff. This is some of what we call his open edition work. And we're going to have him on, and you will have an opportunity to hear an entrepreneurial story that revolves around an individual who started really from nothing, and has become an incredibly successful artist and what I would like to refer to as mover and shaker in the black community, somebody who actually inspires through his visions, through his work, through his ability to tell a story on paper and on canvas. So he's going to be on Monday. His name is Kevin Williams, affectionately known in the art community as Whack. If you've ever been in a beauty salon, you've seen his work. If you've ever been to some churches, you've seen his work. If you've ever been in other people's homes, you've seen his work. And I guarantee you the interview will be off the chain. You're going to enjoy it thoroughly. So we're going to get off of that, and we're going to get on to today's show, because it's so much crazy stuff going on right now. We got to talk about it, y'all. I've been inviting people over to the new page, by the way, to the new Black Factor page on Facebook, as well as Twitch, Periscope, and YouTube. But the funny thing, I feel some kind of way today. I was clicking on there. They only let you add so many people at a time, but I was clicking on there, add people, and I realized I don't think I realized just how many folks I know who have since departed from this life. And I found it, I guess, a little creepy in a way, while I was going through those names and trying to, invite people over. But I don't love them any less. These are obviously people that I knew something about and cared about, and they have moved on to another life. And let me just say, may they continue to rest well. Oh, and speaking of which, on December 4th, just to give you a heads up, on December 4th, we're going to do a show on December 4th that is the anniversary of the death of Fred Hampton. So we're going to do that show, and we're going to talk about the Black Panthers at length and in depth. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And, my main focus today is y'all's buddy, Rudy Giuliani. Because my man is off the chain. But before I get to that, I want to talk about this guy, this cop in Wisconsin. Guy by the name of Mensa, who apparently has murdered 3 people in the last 5 years as a police officer in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. 3 people in 5 years he's killed. This particular cop happens to be black. And like they always say, all skin folks ain't kin folks. We have to, you got to think about this. Every time we see I refuse to say her name, but when we see these people who go and prop up white supremacy, it becomes a bit of a headache. And you have to realize that there are black folks who are foot soldiers to white supremacy. They are literally doing the work for everyone else. Well, yesterday, y'all's buddy, Rudy Giuliani, did a press conference. Amazingly enough, he made himself look like the poster child for schizophrenia. And that, let me take that back, because people with schizophrenia don't deserve what he looks like. Right quick, today Ivanka Trump apparently has been called onto the carpet. New York has a bug up its butt for Donald Trump. And per investigation, it is alleged that Ivanka Trump was one of Donald Trump's tax write-offs. She apparently received large sums of money as a consultant to her father's company. In some circles, they would call that money laundering. Apparently, they are looking at a payment of $70,000 to her for consultation to this defunct and dismantled charitable organization that they supposedly have. It's a family thing that has been since taken apart, just like everything else they've ever touched. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out once his presidency is no more. And what's even better is the fact that all of these people, well, first of all, they can't be, the federal government, or should I say the president, doesn't have the power to pardon in a state case like they're going to be dealing with in New York. And my sister Letitia over there is going to be presiding over the prosecution, and I will be watching closely to see how that plays out. And hopefully the just desserts will come to those who have been tricking the system for a very long time, and what his father had been called on the carpet for many times, which was profiteering, where they use government money or they make money off of the government and funnel it back into their pockets. And they are doing very much the same thing with this so-called, they are have allegedly done the same things with their so-called non-for-profit company that they have up today, that they had up, that got took down. Let me also say right quick, happy birthday to Joe Biden. Today is Joe Biden's birthday. He turned 78 today, which leads us to wonder, as it pertains to his age, will he be able to be effective for the next 4 years? Hopefully his health and wellness maintained so that the security of this country can move forward in the way that it needs to, and hopefully we don't have a sitting baby man to continue monking up the works for everybody else. So, oh, right quick, I keep coming up with all these little things, and I just keep remembering stuff. Look, so Georgia certified their votes today. Big thumbs up to Georgia. However, all my Georgia people, please, please, please do whatever you can. Make sure you vote in this election runoff. It is critical. It is important. There are 2 Senate seats that need to be gained and maintained by someone on the side of the blue if we intend to get anything done in this country, because the Republican Senate has held up everything for the last 12 years now. Nothing has been done. When Barack Obama took office, Mitch McConnell and his group made it their business, and they said openly and outwardly that they were not going to allow him to do anything, and they were going to make him a one-term president, and they were going to do everything in their power to stop him. Democracy be damned. So they didn't do anything damn near for 12 years. Well, no, I take that back because I think the first 4 years we had a Democratic. Yeah, okay. So for the last 8 years, nothing's been done in this country. Donald Trump and the rest of them have a pile of paper. Mitch McConnell has a pile of paper on his desk, laws, things that need to be looked at and dealt with in the Senate that are not being dealt with, and they are chilling. A lot of people don't know why the Senate Republicans right now, in fact, are doing what they're doing, but I'm going to explain that in a minute because they are absolutely causing a problem. Siri Fields, hello everybody, Georgia here. That's right, Siri. I am happy to see that I have my Georgia folks on the line. Listen, y'all make sure you get out and vote in the runoff election. We got Ossoff and Warnock. Those are the guys who need to be put into place. Those are the guys that are going to have the best interest of the people of Georgia in their hearts and in their heads. And those are the guys that are going to help to make things change. Let's remember now, Georgia was a red state for almost 40 years. This is the first time Georgia's turned blue in a very long time. And it's about time. So here we go. Today, y'all's president had a press conference where they talked about the pharmaceutical prices, and he was trying to say that they're going to make the prices go down. They're going to do something with the pharmaceutical companies. But the interesting thing was that after the press conference, of course, he took no questions, not a word, had nothing to say. One of his sycophants was there, of course, to praise him and worship him and talk about what a fantastic job he's done and what a great guy he is, because he had to make sure that he let us all know that if it weren't for him, the pharmaceutical companies would still be charging lots of money. And if it weren't for him, the pharmaceutical companies would never have come up with a cure for, well, not a cure, but a vaccine for COVID. He did this. This is all his doing. And he let everybody know that we should all be thanking him for that. He further let us know, he just couldn't resist, that he won this election. He said he won. He won. He is going to be the president come January 20th. The delusion is real. He thinks that he is going to be the president come January 20th.
Not up in here!
Not up in here. Anyway, y'all know he just had to go on about how he, I won, and if it wasn't for me, you'd all be dead. If it wasn't for me, the sky wouldn't be blue, and, boy got a God complex. This reminds me, I wrote a bit of a long post the other day on Facebook, and sometimes I tend to do that kind of stuff, and I get in my feelings, I get in the mood, and I write things. So yesterday, I wrote this thing, and I'm hesitant. I'm not going to read it. But I do think that I do need to read part of it. In fact, I'm going to, because I know that some people don't like to read a lot of stuff, and I get that. But sometimes there are things that need to be dealt with and need to be said. And there's a reason, because you can't get the information unless sometimes you read the words, and you actually have to dig into stuff. That's why books are so important. I'm tired of the media giving life to a nonsensical, narcissistic clown who can't accept that he's a loser. And he is a loser on multiple levels. He has repeatedly created fake boogeymen for his followers to chase after. You know, kind of like that whole Scooby-Doo thing I did yesterday. You know, Scooby and his crew, they used to chase down these ghosts all the time, and the ghosts were never ghosts. They were always somebody who was trying to be greedy, wanted some money or wanted some power or something. There's always someone under the sheet with a motive. That's the point. And in this case, we have a Klansman. You got to always follow the money, the ego, the hunger for power. How is it possible for people of this country to allow this sort of treason? Let the fact that 70 plus million individuals in the U.S., many of whom are raising the next generation of voters, support this racist and this behavior. This ignorant, hateful, childish behavior. Cheaters believe that the only way to be beat is if someone cheats to beat them. Let the fact that half the population of America either doesn't understand civics or doesn't care about it. Colt 45, that's my name for him, Colt 45. Colt 45. The leader of the Trumpanzees is using another narcissistic sycophant who couldn't get enough attention from 9/11 as his spokesperson. And we're going to deal with him today, Mr. Giuliani. He should be disbarred for that ridiculous circus-like display and attempting to waste the courts across America's time and money with all the frivolous and baseless cases this administration has filed on behalf of nothing more than one man's ego. All of the cases are being thrown out as we speak. More and more cases are being tossed, and I just find it really interesting how these people keep continuing down this path. Just today, Georgia certified its votes. And of course, they're going to want to recount again. Thankfully, the educated people of this country who reside on the benches of these courts are more willing to serve democracy than gain favor with a wannabe dictator and not throw the Constitution into the shredder, which Donald Trump has tried to do repeatedly. Be thankful that these courts are served by brave people who know their job and refuse to be swayed by politics, threats, and whining. Because we know baby man spend more time crying than anybody I've ever seen in politics in my life. Does the most amount of dirt and is constantly crying victim. This whole election is proof that not only does your vote count, but that the checks and balances placed into the laws of the United States are working, and they are working well. Despite the black hearts of many self-serving, ruthless amoeba, thankfully, the laws and lawyers and the protectors that shield America from being disenfranchised were designed to deny any attempts at the rise of another Adolf Hitler in America. Drew Thomas says, let's talk about these unqualified federal judges that have been approved here in the past week. Oh, absolutely. But something can be done about some of that. We're going to work on it. It keeps these emotional, irrational psychopaths and those who support them in check. Signs of psychopathy are by definition. Now listen to this. You know, we call people a psychopath. You know, we've been making jokes. We watch TV. We talk about, oh, this guy's a psychopath. But listen to what listen to what is defined as a psychopath. Socially irresponsible behavior, check. Disregarding or violating the rights of others, check, check. The inability to distinguish between right and wrong, quadruple check. Difficulty with showing remorse or empathy, check. A tendency to lie, often, check. Manipulating and hurting others, there we go. Reoccurring problems with the law. General disregard towards safety and responsibility, COVID. Does any of that stuff sound familiar? That is what psychopathy is. He is the definition of it based on everything that we've seen with our own two eyes. Now, here's the important part. In the coming weeks, more people will die in one day. Now listen to me. More people are going to die in one day, every day. I don't know for how long, But every day, more people are going to die than died in the Twin Towers during 9/11. Now think about that. So in one day, we're going to lose more individuals every day for however long till this thing subsides than we lost in the Twin Towers during 9/11. Today, I believe the number, or it might have been yesterday, I believe the number came out to 1,899 individual deaths related to COVID. That is nothing to play with. All that thanks to the inaction and carelessness of a single simple-minded individual. The more important thing is that a little less than half of those who voted are okay with this. So you got to remember, you got to look at how many people actually voted in this country during this election. 150 million people. That's a lot of votes. In fact, it has been tallied that Joe Biden received more votes than any president in the history of the United States. Donald Trump is second because of his vote count in this election. I need you to understand what that really means. That's serious. That's serious business right there. That's deep. You can change the laws, but you can't change the hearts of men. At this point, this is about national security. We take a lot for granted every day, y'all. If what we're going through continues, and a lot of it will, we are in deep trouble. I encourage everyone to be prepared for what's next. Once Twitler is removed from office, he's going to continue to hold rallies. He's going to have events for the maggots, all them to feed his carnivorous and bottomless appetite for praise and worship. He needs adoration to survive. And it's going to feed the mindless minions who praise him like Jesus himself. His need to spread his hatred and willingness to make anyone who doesn't kiss his ring pay for their indiscretions will be historic. As have many in his most unorthodox behaviors as the leader of the free world. Do y'all understand that this man thinks that everybody's supposed to kiss the ring? He is being vengeful right now. He has it on his mind that he wants to make people pay for trying to diminish his presidency, to make it seem like he is an illegitimate president. He said out of his mouth, it is alleged, because they are saying this was from a source, that they say that he is hell-bent on making the Democratic Party pay for ruining his presidency and the fact that he believes that he should have another opportunity in the White House. Ridiculous. Now, let's not forget, he's got 70+ million followers that we know of. Now, let's remember now, there are only 330 million people in this country. And we're not even talking about people who are all able to vote. We're not even talking about all United States citizens, because we have a lot of people that are counted in the census that are not citizens. We have a lot of people that are not accounted for. But let's remember, 70+ million of these individuals out of 330 million, that's a third almost, who worship the ground Donald Trump walks on. That is dangerous all by itself. And he knows this. He knows what he's capable of. 70% of those 70+ million people still believe that Donald Trump won this election. They still believe that somebody cheated in order to win this election. 70%. still believe Donald Trump. Of 70 million people believe that Donald Trump won this election. Why? Simply because he said so. No evidence, nothing to prove anything, just because he said so. And he made up a bunch of lies. The amazing thing is these people know he lies, said they can deal with the fact that he lies sometimes, but want to take his lies and make them be the truth. That is insane to me. Psychopathy. Psychopaths. Amazing. They don't care that he has zero evidence of voter fraud because most of them have no shame. And many have even less education. What they do have plenty of is hate, anger, and the willingness to destroy anyone and anything in their way at any cost. Like a ravenous animal, void of rational thought. How can you be rational when you can't even process certain information? Cognitive skills suck. He is going down, and he intends to take as many people with him and do as much damage as possible on his way out. Donald Trump is like that one tenant that you have at your house that you rent it to that can't pay the rent. And right before they are forcibly evicted, they decide they're going to put holes in the walls, throw paint on the carpet, bust out all the windows, flood it, and do anything else they can to damage it, to cause you problems because they can't afford to live there. And they have to go. Donald Trump is doing everything in his power to cause as many problems and do as much damage as he can before he leaves, because he has to go. And he knows he has to go, and he is leaving. Right now. Gotta go, gotta go. Gotta go, gotta. How my man Robert Harris say, gotta go, gotta go. 2 at a time. I ain't gonna lie, you know, some of these people, that these sycophants that follow him around, I have stopped attempting to remember names and write these names down and stuff like that. Why? Because they're irrelevant. A lot of these guys are gonna have career changes just as quick as Donald Trump is out of office. They're gonna be looking for work. They're gonna be struggling to find work because they you know, Fox News can't hire everybody. Let me just put it that way. Fox News will pick out the cream of the crop, propagandists, the people who are willing to lie on camera and say anything that comes to mind. Few of them will get hired, the high-profile ones, potentially. Well, they probably not even gonna hire Rudy Giuliani because he went off the rails. Dude is nuts. But you know, this is everybody's not gonna have anywhere to go. I'm suspecting. I'm just gonna wait and see what kind of an empire Donald Trump tries to build from all of this hate and negativity, because he has it. He's got the momentum, y'all. I'm gonna just tell you, it's not gonna be cute. He's gonna be doing his thing, and he doesn't have to be politically correct once he leaves. Not that he's ever been that, but you know, he can do and say whatever he wants, and it's gonna be a beast. And Val Wells says, or trying to write another tell-all book. Val, you know what? I think the people who were going to get paid off of those books have already done so. I can't imagine what anybody else could say that anybody's going to care about, because nothing is shocking. There's nothing shocking when it comes to Donald Trump. Everything that he does and says has shock value, and it drives people insane. I can't imagine what somebody else is going to say unless they're going to say things that are, because theoretically, there are things that could be said, but then the question becomes, are they going to be saying things that fall under the jurisdiction of national security? So they're going to have to be very careful about what other information that could potentially come out behind, any kind of a money grab on books. I think the people who are going to make money off books have already begun doing that. Of course, we knew all those people who had information about his impeachment who didn't say a word, who waited until afterwards, and then they all wrote books, and now they're getting paid for that, which I think is a conflict of interest and, of course, disingenuous. But then what do we expect from these people? Because none of them cares about me, I. They do what they want. So we know that he is on some other stuff. So basically, we're not out of the woods yet. Even after he's out of office, we're still going to have some problems because he has enablers. And these enablers are going to continue to give the crybaby another pacifier and another pacifier and another pacifier until they get him to quiet down just a little bit. So they want to calm his feelings because, you know, he's hell bent on revenge because he's not been praised and lifted up high and called the greatest ever and have the biggest crowds and the most money and whatever all the other need he has for these sorts of psychotic ideas. No more cheating and grandstanding, at least not on the government's pocket, I hope. People's lives are forever changing right now as we speak, all around us. Loved ones are dying. And we're tired. Everybody is tired. I know I am. I am tired. And it's time for us to move on. And I'm going to leave you on this topic with this right here. For those of you who know, for my scholars in the world, Nero fiddled while Rome burned. Look that up. Here's a guy who right now, this country is burning from COVID. And he hasn't been seen in 21 days. Well, they've seen him. He hasn't spoken about any of this in 21 days. While the United States is burning, he plays the fiddle. He's fiddling around in the White House, wasting everybody's time, wasting everybody's resources and everybody's energy. And I found out today that they are also trying to pull all of the finances from the small business loan groups, the small business loan, the SBA. And they're saying that they want their $440 billion back. Now, I don't have all the details on this story, so I'm not going to get too deep into it. But I do know this. Many a small business has relied on that money and still are looking forward to receiving some of it. And without it, this economy is going to tank in ways that you can't even imagine yet. And I've told y'all before on previous shows in the past months that we still haven't seen the real fallout behind what is happening with COVID. And I'm going to just say it like this. We're now, I'm beginning to finally see the cracks. Yesterday, Tyson Foods in Waterloo, Iowa, apparently someone who died that worked at that particular plant, family, are suing Tyson Foods for, of course, millions of dollars, but mainly for not providing proper PPE. And in case you don't know what PPE means, that's personal protection equipment. Not protecting the employees from the potential to contract COVID, forcing them to work or risk termination, and so on. And there was apparently a supervisor. It is alleged that there is a supervisor who was actually taking bets. They had you know how you do the football pool thing? They were taking bets on how many people were going to get sick during this and die. So they are being sued. Now, I said that to say this. I said months ago when all of this first started, there were going to be lawsuits. They just hadn't begun filing them yet. No need in filing them right now anyway because the courts are closed. Most courts you can't deal with. I have a family matter that I'm dealing with. And in fact, the court set a court date for next year. You know, some family probate type stuff. And that, you know, the courts are just not in session like that. So once things start to settle, when this dust begins to settle, there's going to be a lot of fortunes made. There's going to be a lot of people who are broken behind all of this. We've not begun to see. And I'm sure there are plenty of things that I do not foresee and haven't seen yet that are going to come to pass as well. We'll see. Amelia Forbes, now Treasury Secretary, try to drop funds going forward just because he doesn't want the market to do well. Absolutely. And that is at the behest of DT, because he doesn't want anyone to do well. He doesn't want anything to go well or fairly, because he want to make it look like without him, the rest of the world is going to collapse. Doesn't he remind you of that person that you used to date? And they tell you, you ain't going to be shit without me. You'll never be anything with you not with me. I'm your God. Without me, you'll never make it. That's who he sounds like. A person you used to date that believes that without them, your world is about to collapse. Old Adolf Hitler. Anyway, enough about the Demander-in-Chief. So, y'all, let me see. Y'all's, I want to tell you why the Republican Party is sitting back and doing nothing. So, number one, they're scared. They're scared to death. Okay. A lot of people's careers are going to be no more good after this. That's number one. But here's the other thing. While you know, the type of damage that Donald Trump is doing right now to this democracy, I don't know that we've ever even had a foreign power do this much damage to our democracy from another country, from another anything. Nobody has done more damage to the way this country operates and our systems that have been in place all this time. Nobody has done more damage than him. Now that he can get the credit for doing the most of. That's sad. And we sat back and let it happen. But here's the thing. Old Moscow Mitch and them and Lindsey Graham, they're being real quiet. And the reason they're being so quiet is because as long as they don't have to open their mouth, because Trump is doing all their dirty work. As long as he continues to diminish the credibility of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and does everything in his power to make it appear that this presidency is illegitimate or that there's some asterisk that needs to go by his name as though he didn't win, because he, of course, was he was one of those presidents that didn't win the popular vote but still ended up president anyway. But here's the thing. If they continue to diminish the credibility of Joe Biden, that gives the Senate the ability, provided, now go back to my Georgia people, y'all must vote in this runoff election. You must put Warnock and Ossoff in office. It's critical. It is super critical. Everybody is paying attention to Georgia. Donald Trump holds the key to Georgia for a lot of people. You got to understand, if he supports the Republican ticket in Georgia, this is why nobody wants to jump him from the Republican side, because they don't want him to turn on them. Because all he has to say is that this person is no more good, or what? How you know how he does that? And he goes through this thing where he's like, oh yeah, no, forget that person, and he blows them off. Then the rest of the Republican Party does, and all his sycophants run around and start making death threats and acting crazy. See, all he's got to do is say a word. He has that kind of popularity. I'm going to say it again. 70+ million individuals in this country voted for Donald Trump. That's 1/3 almost of the population of the United States. And if he says you're no good, you better believe you're going to start catching hell. These Republicans are afraid of that. They don't want that. They are scared of that. He got all of them on the run. Now, if he continues, not if, he's going to continue diminishing the credibility of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So what that does is that gives the Senate the ability, provided they're in control, back to Georgia again, got to win Georgia. That gives the Senate the ability to hold up everything Joe Biden does, because their constituents are going to feel like anything they do to Joe Biden in his presidency will be justified, because in their mind, he doesn't even belong there. So they're going to get away with murder, damn near literally, because the people in this country are going to continue to die, all while they do nothing. While America burns, they're going to be fiddling. They're going to be fiddling. Nero fiddled while Rome burned. This is a chess match, y'all, and they are playing to win. They ain't playing. Georgia people, John Ossoff, Raphael Warnock, get them votes out there. Make it happen. This guy, he claims that he cares about the people of this country, yet he continues to do everything in his power to keep us in bad shape.
Guess what, bitch? Coronavirus! Coronavirus!
Donald Trump. So, moving forward. Yep, Dennis McCullum, they're gonna hamstring Biden. That's exactly what the attempts are being made. Because y'all also gotta think of this too. A lot of his voters, they're one issue voters. You mention anything about abortion? Yeah, Trump. You mention anything about the lies that he tells? Yeah, Trump. They don't give a damn. They don't care. He could say anything. He could do anything. 70+ million individuals in this country love that man. For whatever their own reasons are, none of our position or place to decide for them. You just have to understand what you're dealing with and deal with it. Because that's what it is. Republicans are scared. They are afraid. And speaking of that, there is one particular individual who I feel has to be shaking in his boots where y'all's president is concerned. The collaborator in chief. I think that he is very scared of Dirtbag Donnie. Mr. Rudy Giuliani, ladies and gentlemen. I strongly believe that there's got to be something that Donald Trump has on Rudy Giuliani. How can a man who is credited with going after big banks, took down the mob in New York, and was considered America's mayor after 9/11. How do you sink so low without somebody pushing the buttons? I don't care what nobody says. I don't believe a man that brilliant. And Giuliani, was a brilliant man. For the life of me, I cannot understand how it got this bad for him. I think Trump owns him. I think some other things have taken place. I'm giving y'all my opinion now. I think some other stuff has taken place between those two gentlemen. And I think that Donald Trump knows where the bones are buried. He knows where Giuliani's skeletons are. He's got to. Because for no other reason would a man destroy his legacy the way Rudy Giuliani is doing right now. Defending this ridiculous notion that Donald Trump won this election. The other thing is, I don't know, and I'm not going to give y'all no spoilers, but how many of y'all, show me by some hearts or some thumbs up or something, how many of y'all have seen the new Borat movie? I ain't gonna lie, that movie is off the chain. It made me uncomfortable. That's how crazy that movie is. You get a chance, watch the movie Borat, the new one. It's disturbing. Not only is it disturbing, there's a scene in that movie that apparently Rudy Giuliani is very disturbed about. And he is the star of that scene. And it's been talked about at length on a few talk shows and some other areas. And it's not pretty. And my only thought about that scene, and I'm not going to tell you the scene, I want you to go see it for yourself. It's toward the end of the movie. When you watch that scene, you will realize that what you saw was not new for him. This was normal behavior. And that within itself is a scary notion. And based on that alone, it make me realize, yeah, bruh, you knew what was up. You knew what was going on. D. Robinson said he was adjusting his microphone. No, D, it wasn't he was adjusting his microphone. He was tucking his shirt into his pants. That's what he said he was doing. But when you see it, trust me, that is not what you're gonna think he's doing. I'm not gonna show the clip on here because I don't want to get into a bunch of copyright crap. Because I'm over too many platforms now. But trust and believe, I want you to watch that movie. If you don't feel like watching the movie, just if you got Amazon Prime or I think it's on Netflix, I can't remember, just forward toward the end of the movie where his scene comes up. And all I got to say is that ain't new. He knew exactly what was going on. How does, and here's the thing. Someone mentioned earlier up on the feed here, Ben Carson. I initially was going to do this show that revolved around both of them, Ben Carson and Rudy Giuliani. And here's why. When I was growing up, I can remember hearing about Ben Carson and what a great guy he was, what a great surgeon he was, what a brilliant pioneer in brain surgery he was. And you got to think that somebody capable of opening up the top of your head and going in there and doing all of these wonderful things or whatever he was doing, whatever, I don't even know what all it is that you do when you go in somebody's head. Just goes to show you, that's way over my head. How do you reduce yourself to becoming a lapdog to Captain Chaos? Do either of these men realize that historically speaking, and here's the sad part, today I looked up Ben Carson to find some things about his history and to dig into his business, so to speak, to try and make sense out of this. And do you realize that the majority of the information that I found had more to do with him as HUD secretary than it did with his career as a brilliant black brain surgeon? What that means is, in history, as the stories are told, when time goes on, the thing that we're going to hear the most about is his buffoonery. He literally has destroyed his own legacy. No one will remember him for being a brilliant black pioneering brain surgeon, but they will remember him for being a buffoon that makes idiotic statements about the pyramids and other ridiculous things. That's what they're going to remember. How could you do that to yourself? It's got to be something else to that. It's got to be. Christopher Johnson said, both Ben and Rudy were brilliant men, but they sold their souls to the devil. Now they just look stupid as hell. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, It's ridiculous, man. It's just so. Again, Giuliani. This dude was a beast, man, as a lawyer. The mayor, Mr. 9/11. He had a hell of a legacy. But this is what he's going to now be remembered for. Stuff like this. He stood there on a rant like the sycophant he has become for Donald Trump. Running his mouth to please Donald Trump at any cost while his face melted away. While he sat there with hair dye running down his face. But guess what? That's not even the worst part. I got... Look, y'all. He wants to please Donald Trump at any cost. The ridiculousness that this man is about now is just insane. It's just insane. I really, for the life of me, don't understand. However, on a lighter note, where Rudy is concerned, it always occurs to me that he reminds me of somebody. And you know how you can't put your finger on it, be like, it reminds me of somebody. Well, I figured it out. Who remembers Underdog? Any Underdog fans? That gentleman standing next to Rudy Giuliani, that is Simon Barr Sinister, one of Underdog's villains. In case you didn't remember. You don't believe me? Just look up an Underdog episode with Simon Barr Sinister in it. Looks just like him. Spitting image. Yet another buffoon who always lost in the end. But now, I said that what we witnessed was not the worst of it. And now, I'm about to prove that to you. Because I have a commentary about this little bit of video right here that you might find interesting. Now, I want you all to pay very close attention in this next clip. I'm going to transfer it over and let you look at the picture. Now, I want you to pay very close attention to something. Don't pay attention to none of the people talking. Well, of course, except Giuliani. But what I want you to pay most attention to, what I want you to be most focused on, is his handkerchief. Pay very close attention to the handkerchief. You ready?
Completely open to hacking, completely open to change, and it's being done by a company that specializes in voter fraud. I'll let Sydney describe that to you.
Now, you see his face is melting as he walks away. Now, he's reaching for his handkerchief.
Dealing with here and uncovering more by the day is the massive influence of communist money through
wipes his
Venezuela,
brow, wipes his
Cuba,
lip,
and likely
wipes his
China
forehead.
in the
Okay, puts his
interference
glasses
with our
back on,
elections
right?
here.
Okay. Now, y'all saw that part. Now, keep paying attention because we're going into another scene. Cleans his glasses, same handkerchief, puts his glasses back on, got it balled up in his hand. Wipes his lip again. And here he is reaching for his handkerchief again. Okay, wipes his lip, wipes his head, wipes his face. Okay. That handkerchief getting the workout, y'all. Now watch this. Pay very close attention to the handkerchief.
That is true.
Blows his
Somehow
nose.
related
Oh,
to
wait a
this,
minute.
but I do
He
not
just
know
blew his
whether
nose.
good
Now
guys
look
got
at him.
it or bad
He's
guys got it.
folding that thing. Let me stop. He just folded his handkerchief, booger side out. Now, y'all know I talked about Donald Trump always, I'm sorry, not yesterday, on the last show where I talked about Donald Trump looking for always being the boogeyman. Well, it appears that Rudy Giuliani is the booger man. Okay? Now, he just folded that handkerchief. Let me back it up just a little bit. Booger side out. Now, pay attention.
Why are you not requesting a recount in Wisconsin where the counties that use Dominion systems?
Watch it
You can only
again.
hear one person
Hold on.
At the time, I'm gonna take the one with the hand. At the time, I'm gonna take the one with the
See him?
hands
Watch him.
raised.
Watch him. He folded it out.
Yes.
Wait a
It
minute.
is
Let me go
true.
back.
It is somehow related.
Blew his
to this,
nose,
but I do not know whether these
folds
guys
it
got
booger
or
side
these
out.
guys got it.
Wipes his face, wipes his mouth, wipes his forehead.
I can only
Oh,
hear
he got
one
boogers
person
all
at
over
a
his
time. I'm gonna
face
take the
now.
one with the hands
What a
at time. I'm
nasty
gonna take the
fella.
one with the hands
And he
raised.
folds it all up
Yes.
and puts it back in his pocket. I just thought y'all might find that interesting. Anyway. Rudy Giuliani, Booger Man. That's his new nickname, Booger Man. He got boogers on his face. Ew. So, I'm tired of watching them put up this scam of baseless, fake lawsuits. Oh, and did y'all know, well, I think I mentioned it, that those the Republican legislators came down today from Michigan to visit Donald Trump, right? Well, interesting little fun fact. It appears that Rudy Giuliani did not show up at this meeting, which I think, my personal opinion, I'm inclined to believe that somebody pulled his coat. Somebody told him that he needed to slow down. I think that somebody let him know that what he was on was not going to work, because he made a utter and complete ass out of himself on yesterday. And I think somebody let him know that. So it turns out that today he made it his business to not show up at the meeting with the legislators from Michigan. I think he was smart enough to know that that wasn't going to be a good look. And potentially, because he is a lawyer. This is the funny thing about it. You got to remember, Rudy Giuliani is a lawyer. And if he's not real careful, he's not going to have a law license left. You cannot lie to judges. You cannot stand up in front of people and say the things that he says without there being consequences. The Bar Association alone will hold you to a particular standard. Must be careful. So, what are we going to do, y'all? I don't know. But, yes, today, Val, yes, they did announce that his son is positive for COVID. And that supposedly is the reason why he didn't show up. He didn't show up because he claimed that he was self-quarantining. He was taking himself out of the loop. I personally believe that his son told him, "You doing too much. I think you need to sit down somewhere. Your ass got the COVID. Come on over here to my house and sit still." That's what I think happened. Whether he got exposed or not, I think he got exposed. he got exposed to some reality. Somebody showed him how crazy he looked on television yesterday because he made a complete ass out of himself. Makes no sense. Well, I ran across another interesting video that I want to play for you. Apparently, Mr. Jimmy Fallon of The Tonight Show was kind enough to make sure that we all got to see this concession speech by none other, only one person. We got a concession speech by old Dishonest Don. So here we go, y'all. Pay attention now. Uh-oh, where's my sound at? Where is my sound? What happened here? Oh, there it is. All right, here we go, y'all. Pay attention.
My fellow Americans, a short time ago, Joe Biden beat me in the election, and not only did he win, he won by a lot, actually. Therefore, it is time for me to step aside, because let's face it, I wasn't probably on my game, and I wasn't doing so well, and I'm the only president in history to lose the popular vote twice and to get impeached. It's time for a change. Greatest dream in the world is that Joe Biden wins, because the winner of this vote was decided by a fair and open election. Therefore, I humbly concede to Joe Biden. The American people have responded, and they said to me, "You're fired. Bing, get out."
I love that. That's what we deserve. We've yet to get it, but that's what we deserve. Because this madness needs to come to an end. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been one. We are about at the end of this show. Let me say that I appreciate everyone who checks in with me and participates in this show on a daily. Normally on Free Thinking Friday, we have you all to participate. Well, today, because of all of this nonsense that's taking place, we didn't do that. But we got a lot of good stuff coming, and we're going to be more participatory. In fact, we have a long list of guests that'll be coming on the show in the very near future. In particular, like I said, on Monday, we're going to have the artist Whack. Kevin A. Williams will be joining us live here on the show to discuss entrepreneurship, art, and Black life, history, all of the nuances and the things that make us who we are. And you'll be amazed at the incredible insight that brother has. Monday's show is going to be off the chain. I advise you not to miss it, because it's going to be real good. It's going to be inspirational. It's going to be earth-shaking and moving and life-shattering and all that kind of stuff. I'm just making up stuff. I'm rambling, y'all, but it's all right, because we're going to get this thing the way it's supposed to be. We're going to make it grow. We're going to build it. So like I said, also, let me put in a quick plug. Y'all see my T-shirt? Sometimes you have to give up on people, not because you don't care, but because they don't. I have a small apparel company, for those of you who did not know that. We've been in business for a few years now. We're going to start, we're going to attach our T-shirts to this show. We're going to be doing giveaways, and we're going to start making it, we're going to do a little bit of entrepreneurial stuff where we talk about starting businesses and things like that, because I have a lot of people who are always interested in business, especially now. Right now is a very critical time for people to begin small businesses. We can't always rely on large corporations, the Walmarts of the world and those types of things. So I think it's important that I begin to encourage people to be more self-sufficient in regard to entrepreneurship and give you some ideas, because I think there are a lot of misconceptions about entrepreneurship and about owning your own business, or even your hustle, your side hustle, whatever it is. There are a lot of misconceptions that people have about how these things operate, and I'd like to be able to provide as much information as possible and bring people on who are also successful entrepreneurs who can add to that. And so that'll be something we're going to also be doing in the future. So I want everybody to don't forget to share these lives or the videos after they're live. Once they're gone, once the live is over, don't forget to hit your subscription buttons on YouTube and your notification button on Facebook, and hit the likes, like the Black Factor page, join Twitch. I like Twitch. That's a great platform. Join Twitch, join Periscope, and we're on YouTube. Just look for the Black Factor. We're there. And we're going to continue to try and bring as much information as possible to keep people enlightened, keep you up on current events, and tie it to the history of where we are and make things better for us. The more you know. Ain't that what they say? The more you know. Some crazy folks out here. And old deferment Donnie, you got about 60 more days. And it's curtains, baby. I can't wait. Oh my goodness. You know what? I think I may go to Washington this year. We'll see. The last time I went for an inauguration was Barack Obama's first inauguration. And baby, let me tell you how cold it was. Woo, Lord have mercy. I like the froze. But I was glad I went. I enjoyed it. It was fantastic. I got some great pictures and I enjoyed myself. And that was my oldest daughter's first photographic outing. She's a photographer as well, and that was her first time doing a trip with me, where we actually got out there and I showed her how the game goes for real, for real. It was like a day-long camping trip in the cold. She was mad at me through the whole thing, all the way up until Barack Obama, Michelle, Malia, and Sasha pulled up right next to us, and she got to take all the pictures she wanted. Then she was excited, and she was happy. So that whole hours and hours long thing was well worth it all for her in the end, and makes me encouraged to do it all again. So you never know. We'll see what happens. So anyway, in the meantime, and in between time, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say I thank you very much for checking in, chiming in, hanging out, kicking it, and doing what you do with us here on The Black Factor. I'm Brian Forbes. Please tune in when we come back on Monday and hang out and listen to what will be a fantastic interview. And I say that not because I consider myself a fantastic interviewer, but because the gentleman who I will be interviewing is going to absolutely put a whole bunch of stuff on your mind. Trust me, it's going to be well worth it. So, y'all have yourselves a great evening. It's time for me to go. Love, peace, and chicken grease, y'all. We out of here.